Like, the picture, him sitting on the beach, umbrella. He's gone a long way from how he left Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's supposed to send me that picture, I specifically requested it. But I ain't got it yet, so. Probably still got jet lag.
Where did he go? Hawaii. The kids, all answers, wives were out there, and they got invited to come out.
He left on Friday and come back on Tuesday. That's one of those trips that I'd have to ask why.
Yeah.
He'll probably say that about the time he lands back.
Get over the starboard.
It'll not make sense.
Just give him an excuse to go, but
Yeah, it's possible.
the place I've never been like this.
I'd like to go, but it's gonna be for a while. I'd like to visit like the Arizona and Diamond Head. My daughter's doing the thing on the thing, so we don't really have to.
It's the right time of year to go out there.
My nephews are scooters, and they took the high schooler out there on their layover, and this lady came up to us and said, "The kids are very polite. Wanted to find out." She, her husband was the United States Coast Guard admiral that runs all that stuff, and they invited him over to.
Oh, what about that?
I mean, it was pretty, it was pretty deep figures, it was like on the lighthouse.
We're kind of studying good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do see. Okay. Oh. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Madison County Board of Commissioners Agenda Setting Work Session, October 6, 2025 at 6 p.m. We will now call this meeting to order. For the record, Commissioner Kirk is not here. He is still under the weather. He did let us know early this morning, but we'll go ahead and move into the chairman's report. I'll be as brief as possible. The Board of Elections meeting Tuesday, October 7th, which is tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. if anyone would like to attend. The Madison County Food Bank is getting ready to begin their annual Christmas program. There is an application process for parents to fill out. Dates are October 20th and October 27th, November 3rd, November 10th to submit your application at the food bank. Staff request all toys and donations be delivered to the food bank before December 3rd. The Madison County Committee joins with the City of Iowa in mourning the loss of Miss Susan Steve, who faithfully served as city clerk for the City of Iowa for 35 years. Her dedication, integrity, and the love for her community left a lasting impact on all who had the privilege to know and work with her. We honor her many years of devoted service and extend our deepest condolences to her family, her friends, and the City of Iowa during this difficult time. Saturday, TJ and Friends, for y'all that don't know, was a cancer benefit program that was started here in 2008, started in Elbert County. And since 2008, TJ and Friends they have 7 counties participating in their program. They have raised over $1.2 million for cancer patients amongst those 7 counties. Just Saturday alone at the car show out here in the back parking lot, they raised $10,552 for cancer patients in Madison County by this one show. There was over 1,000 people in attendance. The foot traffic was phenomenal. It was a great day. It was a great time to come out. So even if you don't live in Madison County or adjoining counties, please check out one of the TJ and Friends benefits. This is a nonprofit. They don't take one penny for their services and or their labor time, anything. It all goes back to cancer patients. It's rather unique the way the money is set up. The money is set up in pots per county. So if you in this audience tomorrow, God willing you don't, find out you have cancer, you can call TJ and Friends and they will write you a check for $500 to drive back and forth for your cancer treatments. If that is an extended period of treatments, you can go back and ask for 500 more. Again, this comes from donations only. So my hat is off to TJ and Friends for all they do for the citizens of Madison County. I'm gonna leave off a couple of these just because they're gonna be later in October and we're gonna have another meeting before those will come about. So, I'll just skip those for now. We're gonna move straight on into business involving guest groups or multiple visitors. We have a proclamation for the Retired Educators Day. I think Ms. Ginn is here. Whereas the governor of the state of Georgia has proclaimed the day of November 2nd, 2025 as Retired Educators Day in Georgia, and whereas are more than 145 retired educators in Georgia, 33,000 of whom are members of the Georgia Retired Educators Association. And whereas 65 years, the Georgia Retired Educators Association has dedicated its efforts to improving the welfare of retired educators and has provided opportunities for them to become involved in community activities. And whereas it is appropriate that that day be designated for citizens to express their appreciation for the contributions that retired educators have made and continue to make for the betterment of human lives for our society. Whereas, on Retired Educators Day, the County of Madison County recognizes these individuals for their time, commitment, and the bettering out our community, and encourage citizens to express their gratitude for the work done by retired educators. Gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion on this proclamation.
This proclamation be approved and distributed.
I have a motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner Doster. Any discussion, gentlemen? Commissioner Adams?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Madison County hereby proclaim November 2nd, 2025 as Retired Educators Day. And I call upon the citizens of Madison County to observe that day in an appropriate manner, honoring retired teachers. So resolved by the Madison County Board of Commissioners on this 6th day of October, 2025. Come on up, ladies. John?
I just want to thank the commissioners for doing this every year and for everything that they help us with retired educators.
Here you go, young lady.
She's the one.
Oh, you got it.
She's the one.
All right. Just a second.
I just couldn't see her a while ago.
I'm gonna take one for the newspaper.
Okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Aunt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're gonna help me because I'm a low wire.
Thank you.
Ms. Ginn, you know we've got an educator at the table also, right?
So we don't have a quorum on that.
I should have let him read that, as a matter of fact.
Yes, that's right.
All right.
There you go.
Public hearing and actions on zoning matters. Canoa Scott.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Before I get started, I'd like to make a request that, the Board of Commissioners, that you amend your agenda tonight. And the reason being, we have 2 applications on here that there's gonna be a lot of public input. And I'd like to get the ones out of the way that may not take near as long. So item number 3 and 7 be moved to the end.
All right. Jim, I entertain a motion on amending tonight's agenda to move item number 3 and 7 to the end.
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Chalmers, second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion on this one, gentlemen? Commissioner Chalmers?
Yes.
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 All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much. All right, the public hearing and action on zoning matters. Number one, attorney for vertical bridges applicants for property owner Lynn Norman is requesting a conditional use to allow a 265-foot telecommunication tower to be placed on 25.4 acres property. The property is located at 8397 Highway 172 in Coma, map 93, parcel 46 in District 4. During the public hearing, nobody came forward for or against this particular request. The planning and zoning had one member absent, therefore the vote was 4-0 to recommend approval.
All right, thank you, sir. You're gonna have to help me pronounce that last name, Nana? Huh? All right. Are you here? Okay. Here to speak on behalf of the company?
Good evening. I'm Madison, 935 Main Street, Suite C4, Safety Harbor, Florida, 34695. As you heard, I come before you today with your Planning Commission's recommendation of approval for a 265-foot tall lattice-style communication tower. I'm available for any questions that you may have, but this is basically T-Mobile trying to provide service in the area. So with that, I reserve my remaining time for rebuttal, and again, I am available for your questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, do you have any questions prior?
I have mine for the chair, if that's okay. You may have to answer them, that's all right.
Understood.
Thank you. Anyone here speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone here speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we will close the floor, bring it back before the board, and gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
Before we do that, notice on our requirements for towers like that, two things particularly want to make sure, number one, that in y'all's investigation, the distance from your residence was beyond the 265-foot fall zone.
That's correct.
And the other, and there was no towers within, I believe it's 3 mile radius, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that was asked, and that was, we got an answer, and we're, okay with the answer.
Okay. Good, thank you.
Isn't the towers now primarily, they collapse inside themselves, they're not, is it more common now that they're not building the towers that fall directly, the full length of the tower, they implode, sort of say?
Madison, John again, and yes, it's called fall zone technology. You first saw it with your very tall lampposts on the interstate, and basically they're designed to a crimp point, and they fold over upon themselves instead of just folding over at the base and falling down.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions, gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that this application be approved as stated.
I have a motion by Commissioner Adams, second by Commissioner Commissioner May. Sorry about that. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner May?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Dan Loring is requested to rezone his 5 acres from A1 to AR to allow a second home to be placed on the property as an accessory dwelling unit for his daughter. The property is located at 608 Stella Hanley Road in Danielsville, map 37, parcel 94-01A in District 2. During the public hearing, no one came forward for or against this particular rezone request. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted 4-0 to approve.
Sir. Mr. Lyron, are you comfortable with that presentation? You got anything to add, sir?
Thank you. Good evening. I just wanted to say, the structure is there's a barn already on the property. So if we're granted the rezone, we would convert that barn to the accessory dwelling unit. I think other than that, I'm comfortable. Thank you. I'll take any questions.
All right, thank you, sir. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone here to speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we will close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move this rezone request be approved as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Chandler, do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Abbott. Any discussion, gentlemen?
Just point out, it's fairly common in this area to have relatively small parcels. That's not our place.
All right, thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Commissioner Dawson?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Motion carries, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bobby Patrick, applicant for Ronnie Patrick, is requesting to rezone his 16.79 acres from A1 to AR to allow the property to be split into 3 tracts consisting of 2 4 acres and 1 8.79 acre tract for a family member to retain. The property is located at 4922 Hudson River Church Road, Danielsville, map 21, parcel 123 in District 2. During the public hearing, no one came forward for or against this particular rezone request. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted to recommend by 4-0 to approve.
Thank you, sir.
No access issues, plenty of road frontage in each tract.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Patrick, are you comfortable with that presentation, or is there anything you'd like to add?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you, sir. Anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone here to speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
Chairman, I move this rezone request be approved as presented.
A motion by Commissioner Chandler, do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Abbott. Any discussion, gentlemen?
Same as on item number 2, they're common to have smaller parcels in that area. So it's not our place.
All right, thank you, sir. Hearing no other discussion, Commissioner Adams.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mr. Patrick.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Byron Beam is requesting to rezone his 5.97 acres A2 to AR to allow a second home to be placed on the property as an accessory dwelling unit for his parents. The property is located at 1125 Shoal Creek Road in Corbin on map 59, parcel 119 in District 5. During the public hearing, there was no one spoke in favor or in opposition to. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval by 4-0 vote.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Beam, are you comfortable with that presentation, or you got anything to add, sir?
I'm good.
All right, thank you. Good to see you. Anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone here to speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
A motion by Commissioner Doster, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chapman. Any discussion, gentlemen?
Just for the board's record, I received 0 calls.
Thank you, sir. No other discussion? Commissioner Chapman?
Yes.
Motion
Yes.
carries, sir.
Yes.
Kim Wood, applicant for her parents, Larry and Melissa Little, is requesting to rezone a 4-acre portion of their 17.52 acres from A1 to AR to allow it to be split out and gifted to their daughter for a home site, and to rezone the remaining 13.52 acres from A1 to A2 to bring the property in compliance with zoning regulations. The property is located at 1461 Fitzdavis Road in Danielsville, map 36, parcel 75, District 4. During the public hearing, no one came forward or for or against this particular rezoning request. The Planning and Zoning Commission, by a vote of 4-0, voted to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Wood, are you comfortable with that presentation, or do you have anything to add?
Yes, sir. That'd be fine.
All right, thank you. Anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone here to speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we'll close the floor and bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion, this rezone request be approved.
Motion by Commissioner Adams, do we have a second? Second. Second by Commissioner May. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner May.
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Application number 8 and number 9 will withdraw.
Those are not on your agenda.
Applications 10, 11, and 12, basically taken up in one vote.
Those are your 8, 9, and 10. So the PMD, they had, 2 withdrawals from their agenda, that was 7 and 8, but they didn't make it to the BOC agenda, because they were withdrawn before we printed the agenda. So what he's discussing is number 8, 9, 10 for George Smith.
All right, thank you.
Okay, correct. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So, yeah, Canoas, if you don't mind, if the board wishes, we will take all these up in one motion. Anybody see a problem
So
with
we
that?
did,
Okay.
okay. George Smith and Peggy Luke are requested to rezone. Have to listen to this one now, it gets pretty complicated. Yeah. Requesting to rezone a 9.85 acre portion of their 48.857 acres from A1 to A2 to combine with a 10.76 acre portion from adjoining property 006/057 for a 20.61 acre tract to rezone a 0.11 acre portion from A1 to AR to combine with a portion of the rezoned property 0026/026 for a 6 acre tract. The remaining 39.90 acre across the road will stay in the A1 zone. The property is located at 0 Rogers Mill Road in Danielsville, map 26, parcel 59, District 1. Also, George and Peggy Luke are requesting to rezone that 24.36 acres from A1 to A2 to allow a 10.76 acre portion to be combined with a 9.85 acre portion of adjoining property 0026/059, leaving the tracts with 13.60 acres. The property is located on 0 Rogers Mill Road in Danielsville, on map 26, parcel 57 in District 1. George and Peggy Luke are requesting to rezone their 23.49 acres from A1 to AR to allow the property to be split in 4 tracts containing 2 6.30 acre tracts, 1 5 acre tract, and 1 6 acre tract. The property is located on 0 Don Smith Road in Hull on map 26, parcel 26 in District 1. Okay. The motion was the rezoning of the 9.85 acre portion from A1 to A2 to combine with the 10.76 acres from adjoining properties 0026/057 for a 20.6 acre tract and to rezone a 0.11 acre portion from A1 to AR to combine with a portion of adjoining property 0026/026 for a 6 acre tract. To approve the rezoning of the property from A1 to A2 to allow for the split, to approve the rezoning of the property from A1 to AR to allow for the 4 splits. The vote by the planning and zoning, after much discussion, was 4-0 to recommend approval.
Mr. Scott, thank you. We'll not repeat that.
No,
It's
not
on record. It's on record and documented. And P and Z, thank you guys, because I know from afar, doing it every day, that seems simple, but it's very complex, and hats off for that explanation, and hats off to you guys for that vote. Mr. Smith, are you comfortable with that presentation, or you want to start over?
No, I'm not sorry.
I'm just kidding.
No, we don't need to be here any longer than we have to tonight, but as it's presented, that's how I like it to go through.
All right. Thank you, sir. Anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone here to speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we will close the floor and bring it back before the Board of Commissioners. And gentlemen, I will entertain a motion for items number 8, 9, and 10.
Mr. Chairman, just for the board's notice, I was not voting in this matter.
All right.
Okay, I'll make a motion for items 8, 9, and 10 with, I guess there'll be time for discussion.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion for items 8, 9, and 10 to stay.
All right. I have a motion by Commissioner Adam, Jim. I have a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dawson. Discussion, gentlemen.
On item number 10, where, and so I understand, George, I believe this is the track that comes into a point between Donald Smith Road and Rogers Mill
Yes, sir.
Road.
Yes, sir.
What is your intent? Where are you gonna, where the drive's gonna be on this? Are they gonna go on?
Actually, I have the, people that's gonna buy, Clay and Peyton Wilkie, if y'all wanna come up. They're actually buying this right here. If I understand, y'all wanna come in on Donald Smith Road, driveway will be on Donald. And then his father, Bill Wilkie, is gonna buy the 5-acre portion right here.
Okay.
So the other 2 tracks haven't sold?
No, sir.
Would, I guess.
This one right here actually has existing driveway where that single chicken house is right there currently.
Yeah, up next to the family house.
Yes, sir.
Because, and I'm asking, because the water service, and I assume you'll use public water because it is available there,
Yes. All right.
would it not be conducive for that area for the drives to enter onto Rogers Mill Road?
If you know where that, you've got that steep hill, and, that, there's almost a blind curve that you can't see right in here.
As we looked at it, we felt it was safer to come on Donald Smith because of that hill, because of the hill and then on one end and then the curve on the other.
I would tend to believe that when there's, I don't have issue with number 8, 9 at all, but I would tend to believe that I would consider Rogers Mill in Madison County primary road, Donald Smith Road being a secondary road. I would lean towards the drives being onto the primary road. But, you know, you guys are running the
Well,
problem.
actually, where Clay and Payne are going, their drive is probably gonna be right across from Miss Rebecca Shaw's driveway, somewhere in that area.
And we have the road frontage there that's required.
Any other discussion?
I do want to point out a few things. Our attorney, Mr. Pruitt, put together a resolution before he left, kind of notating everything that was discussed through P and Z, those conditions, he put it in a resolution format. The only thing that staff recommended changing from P and Z is right here. This parcel has noted an easement, but we wanted to include this easement as this back parcel. Instead of it being easement, it'll actually be property to this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We did talk about
yeah,
that.
it will be basically a flagpole lot.
Yes. And then, Mr. Hagan, do you want me to read the Exhibit A conditions for the resolution? Does that need to be read out loud, if they all have a copy of it?
As long as the board's got a copy of the package, that's fine.
Okay.
So, gentlemen, going around the table, I have a motion and a second. I would like to add with condition that's been presented tonight. Or pre-prepared.
I'd clarify that the motion you're voting on is the one that Mike prepared.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I should that. Y'all have already agreed upon it? Yeah, okay. So, gentlemen, I actually need to have to go back and amend the first vote if you want to do it that way. So, you want to amend your first vote of approval to
reflect,
add the conditions presented by Mike Pruitt?
Presented.
Okay. And you good with the second on?
It's listed under zoning item number 9.
All right, good. All right. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Commissioner May?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me know what one. All right.
Okay,
Have a great night.
Madison County Board of Commissioners, applicant for Interstate 85 Services LLC is requesting to rezone 6.09 acre property from industrial with conditions to industrial with conditions. To revise a conditions placed on the property during the 2022 rezone. The condition prohibiting the storage of hazardous material on property will be revised to allow storage, but not the manufacturing of hazardous material on the property. The property is located at 11270 Highway 98 West in Commerce, map 002, parcel 006-04 in District 1. During the public hearing, there was no one to come forward to speak for or against this request to change this from conditions, industrial with conditions, with conditions to with a different condition.
That's fine. All right, thank you, Mr. Scott.
4-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. So I was contacted by the applicant, and he asked did he need to be in attendance, and I told him no, because this was basically a board of, just for Daniel's knowledge, a board of commissioners initiated, when we put the provisions, conditions down, it was meant to say to not manufacture, not store, okay. So we brought it back so we could fix that condition. So with that being said.
So this is not a rezone request, it's altering the conditions that were previously placed on this parcel.
Correct.
So just for the record, for everybody knows, the Board of Commissioners, back in 2022, when we rezoned this property to industrial, we placed conditions on it, but the verbiage, it went down in the minutes, said not to store hazardous material, and it was supposed to be not to manufacture hazardous material. So then therefore, we have to redo our verbiage by bringing it back for a vote. But you still have an opportunity, if there's anyone here to speak in favor of this condition, opposition to this condition change, you are welcome to. Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the Board of Commissioners, and gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that item number 11 be approved as stated.
Motion by Commissioner Addison. Thank you, sir.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Doster?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. All right.
All right, going back to number 3.
All right.
Matt, excuse me if I pronounce it wrong, the former applicant, owner of Wednesday's Investment, is requesting a conditional use for the 5-acre property to allow the operation of a transfer station on the property. The property is located at 0 Business Drive in Hull, on map 46, parcel 49-05 in District 3. There was much discussion. First of all, there was one person that spoke in favor of, I believe 7 or 8 that spoke in opposition to. After much discussion about where it was located, all of the opposition, but because of the need, the planning and zoning felt because of the need for a different transfer station that we have here in the county, and because this was an industrial park, felt like this was probably the proper place, but needed a lot of possible work on roads or whatever to make it work. The planning and zoning voted 3-1 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Mr. DePalma, are you comfortable with that, or anything you'd like to add? You're welcome to.
No, just if you have any questions, it's located right there across from our facility. I know some of you have come out and taken a look at it. I met with a few of you all and asked questions and all. There's a real need in the area. We try to bring our waste to the county. And the current facility that you have cannot take in the waste by any means. Clark County is now, as of today, they started emptying all trucks under basically a building and going through it and making sure that no trash is coming from outside counties whatsoever. So the trash here is all being trucked right now to Jackson County, or down to Walton County at this time. This is a perfect site, I feel. It does back up to the tracks. It is already zoned industrial and all. I know that there has been some questions about trucks and things of that nature in that area. I'm already operating 2 businesses across the street, which I'm proud to be part of Madison County. I own College Pro Landscaping as well as AAA Sanitation. We would obviously be bringing our trash there to this facility. In this spot, the things of trucks, traffic, it's right next to 72, backs up to the train tracks. It is an industrial authority area, so it is zoned for this particularly. Whether I was granted this or something else, I mean, there's a lot of industries that could go there that wouldn't even need to have a conditional use permit for, that gonna have trucks, gonna have people. We're also creating more and more jobs for the community. We have a lot of people that work for my other companies now that live in the county and all, and I'm proud of that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You'll have an opportunity, if some of the questions come up, then we may have to bring you back to try to help answer the questions, just make sure everything's directed towards us.
Yes, sir.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Before I open this up, I would ask for anyone from the public talking about this tonight, try not to be repetitive. If a question's being asked, you could do a show of hands, but we're gonna try to keep this 3 minutes apiece. That's general rule. For the sake of everybody in the room, you don't all need to say the exact same thing. Try to come up with something new, be productive to the conversation, one way or the other, for or against. So with that being said, anyone here speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone here speak in opposition to this rezone request? All right. So one at a time, come to the podium and state your name and address for the record and tell us your opposition. Sure. We'll start with you. That's absolutely fine.
My name's Douglas Shipley. I live at 176 North Chaparral Court in the Oak Bend subdivision. Excuse me, I don't hear very well, so if I get louder or whatnot. I've lived in my home for 4 years. I am physically about 0.6 miles as the crow flies through from the transfer station, said transfer station. I'm concerned about, first of all, about water and health concerns. I'm concerned about the smell. The second is that the roads out there already are at the edges of the roads. We've lost a tire twice now, just going off the side of the road and hitting a gully. I'm worried about constant traffic with the garbage trucks coming through there and deteriorating the roads, and whether there'll be negative effects from that. In addition to that, I'm a bicyclist, and I ride my bicycle down Charlie Bolton up to Winterville regularly, and I'm really excited about the potential for the Firefly being completed there, and that's Charlie Bolton Road that I'll be driving down there. I ride it regularly. There isn't enough room for 2 cars and a bicyclist to go by. There is almost no shoulder, and yet it's labeled as a bicycle route. So with the potential for regular traffic with garbage trucks going through there, I'm very concerned. That's about all I've got.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for hearing me.
No, thank you, sir. Anyone else? Sure, come on up, young lady.
My name is Ann Hurst, and I live in the Oak Bend subdivision. And I have a concern that there is the industrial zone, but this is being asked for a special permit, a conditional permit, which the type of business being requested is suited for that particular, is not suited for that particular area, since the current businesses seem to be mainly storage or light manufacturing. It seems that AAA Sanitation stores their trucks there, as do College Pro and the porta potties. There's a machinist shop there, and I think a warehouse. But it seems to me that a business like this, with trucks coming in and out constantly, will create distress on the roads. I know people have talked about the taxes, being beneficial to the county, but will the taxes raised from this business offset the repairs to the road and things like that? And he talks about he's going to have thermometers, so if the temperature gets up, he can call the fire department. He's going to call our volunteers. Is he going to have a fire suppression system, sprinklers? As far as odor, this stuff has been sitting in the garbage cans for a week, and then he's going to bring it and dump it, and according to the plans, he's going to move it out the same day, but still, there will be an odor. Is there going to be any sort of odor suppression system, such as enzymes in a misting system or anything like that? And also the property values. My house in Oak Bend on Chaparral is 1,600 feet from this lot, and this is measured by the Q Public County thing, I think it's 620 feet per inches, and so I have measured it to the subdivisions across along Spratland Mill. He is, let's see, I've got it here, 1,320 feet to Creek Drive off Spratland Mill, and 825 feet to the entrance of Millbrook Circle, which is upscale, I would say, subdivision. And, he says that there is no local, let's see, I've got it here. No surrounding residential properties. Well, I don't know what the term surrounding residential properties, but within I'd say a half-mile radius, there's a good many people. And I don't think that the odor and the taxes, the stretching of our local facilities warrant this business being there. He can still dump Oglethorpe and Clark County stuff in the Clark County landfill. He can take the rest to Jackson County, which is already accepting his stuff.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sure, come right in. Hi, good evening.
My name is Felicia Allen, and I live on 624 James Holcomb Road. I've lived there the majority of my 61 years. My grandfather was James Holcomb. I'm the only surviving member left, and I've kept my land, whereas my cousins and whatnot, they've sold everything, so I'm just trying to hang in. And the businesses, yeah, at the time the industrial park was put there, of course, did what we could, but, you can't fight, progress. It's needed, I understand that, but being that we live there 24/7, and these vehicles going in and out, and just yeah, it's zoned industrial, sure, okay, but down James Holcomb Road, that's residential, and these trucks they're supposed to go in and out. No, they won't. They'll come the back way, and they're not gonna all fit up on 72, and they just don't do it. I mean, weekly, there are 18-wheelers coming in there. Of course, I understand there's deliveries and whatnot, but it's just like, they start out with going to do this, going to do that, but it turns into something else. And the road, yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just been beat up and all. It's just not big enough for all of that. And, they'll fix the potholes and whatnot, but they come right back. So the road is just not, it's not made for that. And it's taking that wear and tear, so there needs to be something done about that, as far as what, won't do that. And not disrespect to Mr. Palmer, I understand, and no, disrespect as far as I know that things need to be done in the county and such as. But since I live there and I have lived there, my property is on the back side of it, right behind AAA and College Pro. I mean, right there. And I have the whole road down through there, I own, so down to where Paul Smith is. So it's just, the noise, the smell, the traffic, everything is going to be an issue. So that's how I feel about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm coming at it in a different way. I'm a real estate agent. I've been my name is Lisa Langford. I live at 411 Musket Ridge Road. I'm about a half a mile from the James Holcomb Industrial Park here. And it is definitely going to affect our property values. I mean, I've already sent Frank May between the noise pollution we already have, all down that road, including by the water tower. We have air pollution from the train. I don't mind. it was there then. But being there for 33 years, I think that the taxpayers in that subdivision should have more of a say-so than a conditional use for waste. We already have to deal with this. I mean, we've had to. And our property values have gone up. Our taxes have gone up. IDA is on there, and I know that's part of what we pay, but there's a better way and a better place for this to take place. If the amount, we don't even know the amount, and how long is it going to stay? You said it was going to be removed in a single day. I mean, he's going to enforce that. We already have problems enforcing the laws that we have. It is going to affect my property value, and I'm very upset about it. And I believe in progress too. I mean, obviously, I'm a real estate agent. I love Madison County. I've lived here for 33 years. I'm from Clark County. I see the trash that goes on, and are we recycling? The trash is coming from other counties, not just Madison County. Is it going to offset the amount of property value decline that we have around that area? I guess the profit that this business is gonna make. And how many people is it gonna employ from Madison County? We're talking about Madison County, we're not talking about people coming from other counties into Madison County. So, that's my 2 cents worth. Oh, I have one other question though.
Yes.
And y'all might have already, the P and Z might have already, answered this question, but has there been a projected environmental inspection done for this type of business? Does it hurt the water table, underneath? We already know it's gonna be air, we already know it's gonna be noise, we already know the traffic's gonna come up. But we have probably 100 residents in Oakland subdivision, not to mention around. It is gonna affect our tax value. And if it happens, I will be appealing their taxes. Never in 33 years. And I will make it my mission to go around door to door. So,
Thank
I'm
you.
done. Amen.
Thank you. Next. Anyone here else speak in opposition? All right. Name and address for the record.
Forrest Monroe. I own the property that me and him share the back end. There's 2 tracks. It's 186 James Holcomb Road. I have the quad there. I don't think it should be that close to residential. I got 4 families living there right now. They don't need the smell, they don't need the flies. We have multiple wrecks there every year. The people turning around at the quad, they hit the mailbox. I actually had someone run into the building. I don't think it should be there. I think there's a better location for this, but not there.
What is the quad?
It's a 4-plex.
Okay, oh, quadruplex, sorry, quadruplex, all right, thank you. I didn't catch what you were talking about.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Yes, sure.
Good evening, gentlemen. Dave addressed a lot of the concerns I have. The roads are terrible now. Been in disrepair for the last 10 years. My business has been located there since '05, I think, maybe '06 when we moved in. It's been a peaceful place. We've enjoyed being there. This facility, the roads are not suited for it. I guess my question is, if the Department of Transportation has been asked where James Holcomb leads on to 72. I don't know if that's county responsibility or Georgia. Best I can look up the regulations, the road's not wide enough now per their minimum requirements. Needs to be a decel lane. I don't believe there's room. If there is, I wish I would put one. Trucks coming in as I'm trying to go out or other people trying to go out, it's very crowded. The value of the property is gonna go down. I don't believe it would offset road cost and upkeep, because, again, there's a lot of trucks now, and we're at least gonna double that. So, I guess the other thing, the fire department issue, I would say, please look into that. The other thing is, I feel good about Madison County Transfer Station. I don't know why Madison County Transfer Station can't handle the trash from Madison County now. What would the upgrades be? To me, it would more than offset the cost of keeping roads up. The facilities there up and running. So I would say, please look into that as an alternative. Will there be a conditions discussion, as far as the conditions that might be put on this if it were to be passed, or is this time to discuss it?
Oh, we'll get into that in just a little while. Right now, it's just for everybody to speak, and when it comes back before the board, the conditions will be placed however they vote. If they vote one way or the other, there'll be conditions. If they vote the other way, there'll be no conditions.
Okay. I was just wanting to hope there's some discussion, because the conditions I feel like can be modified if this were to pass. To make it
what
better.
conditions you're thinking?
The one about 6 wheels, trucks over 6 wheels, entering an accident for 72, I highly recommend. My thoughts are that should be commercial vehicles. A lot of trash trucks are 6 wheels. The other part was, I guess the responsibility of who's going to monitor the wash downs and that kind of thing, odors coming off of it.
I'm gonna try to do my best, by the way, in just a minute to answer a lot of these questions that I know the answers to.
Okay.
In just a little while. Before you keep coming, writing them down, so.
Okay, yeah, there we go. So in the conditional uses listed on the county website, under zoning ordinances, conditional uses 11.3.2, these are conditions for conditional use being issued. Vehicular and pedestrian traffic on adjacent streets will not be hindered or endangered. 11.3.5, the proposed conditional use will not be injurious to the use or enjoyment of environment or other people in the immediate vicinity or diminish or impair property values. 11.3.6, the proposed conditional use will not increase local or state expenditures in relation to cost of servicing or maintaining neighboring properties. So I think that's all I got.
All right, thank you.
Sir, what was your name again?
My name's Alan Guest. I own the property. My residence is 396 D Highland Road, Danielsville.
Anyone else? Yeah, well, TV coming in that side.
Well, I've got a couple things to add.
I was name and address for the.
Dennis Payton, and address is 40 Jasmine Drive, which is right on the corner of James Holden and Jasmine Drive.
Perfect.
My biggest thing is also the traffic. I've made it a point to follow some of these trucks going down the road the last few weeks. Every time I see one, I'll kind of lay back or I'll kind of try to catch up with them. These trucks cannot, I don't know if y'all are familiar with James Holden Road, but it's a curvy road. These trucks cannot maintain like their lane when they're coming around there. So, what happens when they meet oncoming traffic? I mean, what happens to somebody's, you got people's sons, daughters, grandkids. What happens if something happens to somebody? Who's going to take responsibility for that? And my next thing is just basically the health and safety concerns there. We've got, you get a bunch of varmint in there, you get a bunch of rats, you get a bunch of smell. We just come off a pandemic. What happens when you get all that stuff in there flying around? So, what's going to be done about that? And then, of course, the financial concern. Any research I've done, the people has, anything has said property values have went down. But one of the main things that, and this is psychologists and all this tell you, when you're going to do something, you make a list. You do pros and cons.
Right.
And, you just weigh the differences. And you'll notice one side of this paper is blank. That's the pro side, because I just don't see any pros with it. And next thing will be the environmental concerns of just, how much, what's it going to do to more traffic in and out. There we go, more carbon footprint right there in that little area. And I just don't think it can.
All right.
I guess that's it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Anyone else?
The refrigerator, 163 Oak Bend Drive. My wife has been run off the road, Charlie Bolton, twice, one in them curves up there. And one of them like to hit her. You got potholes, I counted them over here. There's 3 as big as them desks right there, where they tearing up the road so bad over there. They fix them, but it don't last 30 days. They tearing them up. That's 50 years with fire hall down there. We come out with the trucks, we have to wait to let them trucks get out of our way before we can get over the railroad track, making calls. I'm retired from the fire hall now. They still have that problem. We got another problem over there. This creek goes down by my property. And there's a company up there that washes these potty pours for the university bathroom, washing the water down. And I can smell sewage down in my creek. And that's been going on 2 or 3 years down there.
out of that business, that's that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, since there's no one else, Mr. Palmer, would you like to, answer any of those questions whatsoever?
I'll be happy to answer any questions of the commissioner's side. Sure. Towards this. I know you said you already had a lot of the answers.
Yeah, if you, give me just a minute, and then anything I miss, you may want to pick up, but I wanted to touch on a couple of different things. For one, understand that the EPD regulates transfer stations. The county does not use. That's where the enforcement come in. The wash down, the smell, the flies, the foggers, whatever, that's all EPD regulated. That has nothing to do with us. So I don't know if you've ever dealt with EPD. We deal with them a lot. They are very stringent in what they do. If there's a wash down station, there is normally a septic type tank that has to catch that wash down. It's not supposed to leave the property. Again, that's enforceable by EPD. So I just wanted to make notes on this, the smells, the flies, all that's EPD, not county. As far as, and I don't want anyone to take this disrespectful in any way, but has anybody visited our current transfer station? Okay, so we have smells and we have flies and all this, right?
But it's out in the country.
Mm-hmm.
It still
We've got a
smells.
high percentage of residents in that area compared to.
I'm asking, does the transfer station, okay, either way, our transfer station, we asked our road department, got over transfer station about this. I said, do we have supplies? Do we have smells? Do we have rodents? Do we have runoff? And he said, absolutely not. I said, how long do we keep our trailers? He said, about 3 days, and we're full. He said, if we're gonna have smells, flies, and rodents, you're gonna have it because you're holding the trash longer. And I said, okay. So I get the 18-wheeler issue, turn in and out. I get the bicycle with 2 cars and a bicycle won't fit, but they're not gonna fit whether there's a transfer station or not. There's gonna be 2 cars and a bicycle, still ain't gonna fit on that road. DOT did contact us, and to answer one of your questions was about the turning radius. That is a state highway. DOT does that. We do not do that. As far as the radius being wide enough or the turning lane being wide enough, again, that's DOT. That would not be the county.
That was my question. I was asking about the width of James Holcomb.
Yeah.
Where it comes off, not the turning radius.
Okay. I thought you were talking about turning lane or something right there. The width is currently, from what we just heard from the public, is handling 18-wheelers today. Supposedly there's 18-wheelers going up.
Yeah, well,
if
we're trying to come out, they have to stop in 72 because there's not room for them to turn.
Gotcha.
Like that there, so they're blocked at 72 with no decel lane.
I got you. So again, just for what's currently going on today, those are some issues that's there. Daniel, and I forgot to introduce everybody to Daniel Haygood. Mike Pruitt, our county attorney, is out of state currently. Daniel Haygood is the county attorney for Oconee County, and I think Mike may have put some stuff together. But for the record, this conditional use was almost requested by the county for a conditional use. Did you understand that the way I did, as to where it came from?
I can't say I know anything about that particular.
Okay. So in our ordinance, transfer station, from my understanding, is referenced in the industrial park to be allowable without a board vote. But the way it was written, however many moons ago, it could be misinterpreted and could potentially cause a lawsuit. So is the reason we decided that it would be best to follow through with the condition. Now, for everybody in the room, I don't get to vote. I'm just trying to inform you of the information I was given. And I want to be able to touch on a lot of those. How many people called the property valuations office and asked about your property values going down? I didn't think so. Because I
Wait a
did.
minute, can you repeat that?
That doesn't,
I mean, no, only because the question to us was our property taxes are going down, so I'm asking how many people call property owners?
No, who said that?
Property values.
Property values going down, property values.
the value of property is not set by the county.
Correct.
It's set by buyers and sellers.
Correct. So I just wanted to make sure that we all understood, because I asked property valuations, would this business potentially drop the value of the homes? And
Well, I
he said,
can-
no, it's based off the buyers.
I
So
can
thank
tell you
you.
directly,
Yeah, I mean, the value.
I can promise you it will devalue the property.
I'm
Part of
not-
the due diligence for a real estate agent is to look in the surrounding areas and see what facilities are there.
I'm
If
not
it
arguing.
even has anything to do with waste or sanitation, we're in trouble.
I understand. I completely understand. I'm just trying to tell you the facts of what we know and what we don't know, trying to help answer the question. That's all I'm trying to do. All right. So anyway, I hope that's everything I had wrote down: transfer trucks, cars, bicycles, property values, smells, flies, sewage, and rodents. Anything I missed, please inform them.
What about the water health concerns?
EPD, 100% EPD again.
So you just throw it off on somebody else?
No, it's state, EPD is over all state waters. They're over all wells. You can't drill a well without EPD approval. That's all EPD.
And then on the
You're talking about for
wells that are
commercial.
now,
I'm talking about for any well.
And our concern is that there could be contaminants that could leak out, regardless of however many cisterns there are or not, or that we live within a half mile of this said facility, and it's gonna smell. It may not always blow in our direction, but just the idea that it's there and it's negative. Who wants to live and have bad odors coming by?
Understand. I've been at ours, and you're all welcome to. We're open, I think, 4 days a week. Y'all welcome to go by and smell it. You are.
So the difference, a few of the things I'd like to touch on is that, the difference with this transfer station, this is a three-sided building. Okay, so the current transfer station is just an open area with a little awning on it that y'all have, and it's not even high enough for trucks to get up underneath and dump out whatsoever. So everybody just kind of throws their stuff and they push it down with the tractor and put it into the trailer. If we bring a larger truck there, you have to back up to the trailer and it leaks out all over the ground, which you all are on the old landfill. So controlling the water is not as big of a deal and all. This, you're actually going into a three-sided building. I gave you a diagram of it, of what it would look like roughly. Not quite, but you would enter those bays, and basically the smell is contained inside that facility. It's not going to be outside. The trash gets put into tractor trailers as the trash comes in, and as the trailer fills up, it gets hauled out of there. So if you go to a real operating one, they haul that out. I mean, there'll be a truck right there to take it and get it out of there. There may be a trailer that would sit there overnight inside right that area there if we weren't going to make the landfill closing time. But the goal is to close by 4:30 every day so we can have all the trash up off the ground. The EPD, I've spoken to them. They have no problem with this whatsoever. They have very stringent rules and regulations. They do. I've visited multiple transfer stations in the area, all the way up to Tacoma and all. And the guy says, man, they just pop up. They don't tell you they're coming. They just come and spot check you. And they'll shut you down if you're not in compliance in any shape or form of that. We also plan on fencing and screening the entire perimeter of the property. So any kind of little litter that could flow out or anything would be contained inside the facility. Fire concerns, I've met with the fire department and all. There are fire hydrants all down that road. The fire system that one of the citizens spoke about. So what the systems I've gone to is called a FLIR system now, where they put up heat-sensitive cameras, and that's what we would definitely be doing because we want to protect the structure. We do not want a fire. Fire is definitely something that happens at a transfer station, can happen. It's not like every day it happens, but if it's not managed properly, from time to time a fire will occur. The way the FLIR system works is that if it senses any kind of heat at all, it triggers the fire alarm automatically and sends the fire department. It doesn't wait for somebody to make a phone call or anything like that. Transfer stations have come very far over the last 10 to 15 years, And it's really the way of the future because nobody wants a landfill anywhere anymore and all. And all this trash would be trucked to home or most likely in the end. So that kind of clears up with the EPD, the water, their screened in, fire suppression system. It's the, if have any of you all gone to the Jackson County transfer station at all? I mean, there's not, have any?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, the odor is not, it's not what you think whatsoever, because it's inside a building. The building, yes, there is some odor in there, but it's not like you have to hold your face or anything like that. Like I said, we were planning on having operations between 7:30 and 4:30 every day, Monday through Friday at the time.
So there'll be none in there at all during the weekend? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
Since water runoff was a question that a lot of people had, can you explain the cistern system that you're talking about where you control the water and it doesn't get outside the building?
Yes, sir. So when you back into that facility, there'll be large drains in there. So the water all comes out of the trucks, basically. So when the truck dumps out, any liquid that comes in there would drop into a drain, okay? And the drain goes down into large cistern tanks underneath, which are monitored with electronics for when they're filling up. Then they're just simply pumped out, and they're taken to the wastewater treatment plant. So all the water is all going to be contained right in that building. We slope the floor so that all the water goes in one direction.
All right, Matt. Anything else to add on that before we close the floor and bring it back before the board?
No, sir.
That was a rebuttal. We done that. So
I did. Mike and I had a brief conversation. I just refreshed my memory on it.
Okay.
The issue is your zoning ordinance discusses transfer stations, but it's not a thorough discussion of it. It defines them, it says it has to be done in connection with EPD regulations. And then this particular zone says that it's where you put anything that might be, have an objectionable odor or traffic or all those kind of things. The ordinance also gives you the right, and it gives P&Z the right to interpret the ordinance. So the question was, is this a use by right or is it a conditional use?
Correct.
And the way P&Z and the chairman and Mike all came down on it was, it's typically in most ordinances a conditional use, which is why it's in front of you as a conditional use tonight. Although if you looked in your ordinance, you would not find it laid out quite that clearly.
And with that being said,
Legal uses, it's not listed.
well, it is, but it's not defined
It's not like.
in
another
detail. So, to be honest, this condition that we asked for of Mr. De Palma to come to us with was a condition because honestly, help me if I'm wrong, Mr. Haygood, even with the denial, he could probably open tomorrow and run his business. But we wanted to put the condition in there trying to say that we didn't want any areas of misleading intent, I guess you could say.
Well, I would say it this way, since you've interpreted it as you have interpreted it, no, he couldn't just start tomorrow.
Okay.
If he did, he'd be in violation of the interpretation. He could appeal the interpretation.
Gotcha.
But instead, he's moved forward with special use.
Okay.
Which is a better way to handle it.
All right, well, thank you. All right, do you have, so we did put some conditions together just in case. Do we have a copy of those here? Okay. Yes. So, gentlemen, I would ask you to look over those, and at this point, I will entertain a motion. Just make sure that you add or delete from those conditions in whichever way you go.
Chairman, could I ask that, since I did not present those conditions, that those conditions be read so that the public will know what those conditions are?
Did the P&Z vote on those conditions?
Not on this exhibit.
When y'all approved 3-1 vote, was those conditions added into that 3-1?
No.
Okay, then yes, no, you would not. The board would have to.
Understand, but I wanted the public to know what those conditions are.
Yeah, they will have to read them out. They'll have to state those conditions in their vote.
Correct.
If they choose to vote that way. So gentlemen, with that being said, I will entertain a motion.
Let me make a statement.
Absolutely.
I've gone back and forth on this one over and over again. You know, the county is growing, and as the county grows, this is the type of facility that we're going to need, especially in the south end of the county, where there's gonna be more development. And this parcel is already zoned for industrial use, and so a conditional use permit seems like a simple thing for this one. But then I was thinking more and more about the cost of the business. Thinking about the traffic on Business Drive, the traffic on James Holcomb Road. Can they handle that? Can they handle the 18-wheelers loaded with waste? You know, repairing and repaving roads is more expensive every year. And, you know, should the cost of these repairs, which repaving, building the road up to where it would need to be, should that fall on the citizens of the county? You know, I was thinking about these conditions. One of the conditions that we thought about was all trucks over 6 wheels are directed to enter the facility from Highway 72. You know, we put up no through truck signs. I was coming home from church last Sunday, and on Glen Cary Road, a mobile home was being transported, blocking traffic on both ends of the road. If anybody was going down the road around 1:30, you would have seen it.
On Sunday?
On a Sunday, probably because they figured nobody would do it.
Now, there are certain days they're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Probably not permitted.
Sunday doesn't want up.
Probably not. And there's no through truck signs on either end of that road too. So, you know, thinking about that, you know, right now, the more I think about these kind of things, the more that I feel that the cost of business outweighs the benefits to the citizens on this one. I do want to thank you, Mr. DePalma, for investing in Madison County and for your willingness to grow your business here. But as of right now, I don't think that this would be a good idea at this location.
You want to put that in the form of a motion, sir?
I would make a motion that this conditional use permit be denied.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Doster. Any discussion, gentlemen?
I'll state for the record, I had some similar concerns and thought processes, you know, going from, you know, an industrial area to, I think it just behooves us as we're moving forward to some other things there. My point being, it's industrial, and we've had several discussions at this table about different levels of industrial, whether it's heavy, ag-based, those kind of things. And I after driving around and looking at it and looking at some of the traffic conditions, I have some safety concerns with the additional potential truck traffic and it exits out to the commercial, or from the commercial traffic out to the state road.
All right. Any other discussion, gentlemen?
I have a question. Derek, you may be the best one to answer this question. One of the conditions that was suggested to be proposed to this was, assuming that there was a motion to approve, was that all trucks over 6 wheels enter the facility from Highway 72. I was not clear on that, if you're talking about a direct access into Mr. Palmer's property from 72, or if that reference coming in on James Holcomb Road and then turning on Business Drive.
It did. James Holcomb.
So if that's, is there potential for access to that property to be directly across the railroad on the Highway 72? Is that something that DOT is likely to frown on?
I would think the
DOT turned it down. We asked them.
But I would think the more highly probable no would be coming from the railroad itself.
Correct.
Is, you know, I don't want to speak for CSX, but in my practice with what I do for a living, that additional crossings are.
They're not likely to approve a private
crossing.
crossing.
I would say probably not.
So while we're in discussion, the only thing I want to be mindful of is the comprehensive plan, the industrial zone, the 4-lane highway and the railroad. All I have to say. Any other discussion?
There is one, and I don't know if it's appropriate to put it in at this time, but just for all the citizens to be aware of, it is a flaw that we have recognized in our ordinance, and one of those that we are working towards correcting. It is not correct at this point, but industrial is industrial. As this is currently zoned, just throw an example out there, not to say anything like this is likely possible, but a GRP could operate on that property today as it's zoned. All the issues that we're talking about happen without any conditional use, without any considerations. And that's somewhat of a trap. You know, that doesn't really solve what we're talking about today. But that is the reality for anything that is carrying the I zone currently, is that it is an open zone classification. Anything that's listed under industrial can occur there unless it requires conditional use.
Floor is closed, Bubba. But thank you. Yeah, you are correct, and I didn't even think about that. There's probably 100 worse things that might go in there Monday morning or Tuesday morning that we can't control. The only setback in this one was a flaw in the way the ordinance is written. Thank you, Commissioner Chandler. Because tomorrow, just like the concrete plant that did not go through, now they're getting 150. We could not stop it. 150 RV park on a Georgia Bulldog game that starts at 7 o'clock. The noise, the partying. So while people clapped about that one, the very next day we got the next one. So just be cautious in what you ask for, or to be not in generalized. Be careful. All right. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I think it's on Commissioner Adams. I'm sorry.
All right, so
The vote is to deny.
mine is a no vote to deny.
Understand?
Yes.
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 Motion carries to deny. All right. Moving on. Commissioner Scott.
Gentlemen, thank you all for the discussion. Now you see how difficult this was on P&Z.
No, it's a hard discussion on all of them, though. I respect everybody's decision. It's just a hard one.
All right, moving on to number 7, I believe.
Yes, sir. David Dye.
David Dye, applicant for Broad River Mining LLC, is requesting a conditional use for the 278.62 acre property to reopen a rock quarry operation for aggregate mining for both crush and surge stone. The property is located on 0 Berkeley Road on map 0114, parcel 011-03, district 4. Mr. Dye was not in attendance to represent the request. However, the attorney Luke Boggs and Manuel, and I do apologize for the last name, Raj, representing the application on his behalf. They explained the details of the operation to the planning and zoning. One change that they requested that the hours of operation not be Monday through Saturday for 8 hours a day, but to be extended to 24 hours a day. So the planning and zoning recommended a condition that they be allowed to operate from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday, except for rail loading and transportation that can be done outside of those particular hours. And that the rail line approval would be put in place for those particular hours. Planning and zoning voted 4-0 to recommend with these conditions that this be approved.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Dye or Representative O, all right? You just decided to come on up because you knew we was going to have questions, right?
Yes, sir, I assumed you would. And thank you for having me. I am Lucas V. Boggs. My office's address is 1220 Langford Drive, Building 200, Suite 101, Watkinsville, Georgia, 30677. Thank you, Chairman, for your introduction. There was extensive discussion at the previous hearing, and while I do want to hit those points, I want to focus this part on the presentation of kind of providing additional information that we didn't have at the hearing and address some of those questions. Ms. Baxter, do you have the PowerPoint that I gave you? Or?
Yes,
Okay.
they have them printed in front of them.
Okay. Yeah, just for the public.
Is this the first page?
I think it's not part of this presentation. Okay.
It's not scanned in here, but they have.
Okay. So the first thing I want to point out is that this is, so as we discussed at that hearing, the federal government and state government heavily regulates mining operations. And so, sort of the same discussion we had on the previous agenda item of the EPD being in charge of water and things like that. The United States Mine Safety and Health Administration is in charge of regulating mines. This mine has a mine ID of 0900006, and there was discussion and concern about a 2017 mine accident. That was a different mine that was in Oglethorpe County, and that mine ID is 0901147. Another issue that was discussed is, the hours of operation. And so what we would like to propose tonight, we, tried to come up with the simplest and, easiest way to do it that, kind of balances the costs and benefits. And what we'd like to propose is that we limit blasting from Monday so it would only be allowed on Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and then all other operations 24/7. And the reason for that is on the positive side of the ledger of what we need to make this a successful mine. And as I'm sure you all know, this is a very expensive endeavor, both to deal with the regulatory burden of dealing with the state and federal government, building out the facility. Basically nothing on this property right now, and making that a fiscally viable operation so that the money invested is very likely to bring a return. The more limits on the hours of operation will make it a less viable project. So, that's why we are asking for that. And as far as the concerns that people brought up, the noise level of these operations are a lot less than, frankly, I would have thought, having consulted with the folks coming up with this. And so, primary crushers, and so at the noise level at 1,000 feet, and no property is within 1,000 feet, so they're further away. A primary crusher is only 69 decibels. A secondary crusher with screens is 64 decibels. The conveyor transfer point is 59 decibels. A front end loader is 74, and a haul truck is 69. In comparison, my normal speech right now is about 60 decibels. So I'm talking just about as loud as these other sounds would be to anybody who is nearby. And again, another example is a vacuum cleaner at 10 feet is about 70 decibels. So as far as the sounds that anybody who's in this area would hear, it's gonna be very minimal, and that, you know, a train is about double that. So there's already a train track there, and it is, you know, significantly louder than this. Blasting, of course, would be slightly louder than that, but it's, you know, it's not a big boom, it's more just a thud that you would hear, and it's not, you know, a bunch of explosions over and over. I mean, it's really just gonna be one. And this is, you know, not big blastings like you'd see in the Old West movies. I mean, this is pretty targeted and, you know, contained explosions. So the other issue that came up and the other condition that we would like to get removed was related to the CXX line. As the board should have with you, CXX has provided a letter of support, so they are fully in favor of the project and would, you know, are prepared to get that line open. And frankly, the project wouldn't be economically viable without it. So if CXX came back, even if you guys approved us and said they're not going to do the line, then the mine probably wouldn't happen. So now that being said, for the project to be viable, we need to start building it up, and it's kind of putting the cart before the horse to require the rail line to be completed and ready and operational before, you know, the mining operation has even truly begun. And so that we would ask that condition to be removed. I'm going to, let's see, the only other thing I would have at this point is Tom Hill and Bob Price, who are two of the folks who are working on this project and trying to bring this to the county, are here. And so if there's any more technical questions that, you know, I as a lawyer cannot answer, I'd be happy to consult them and bring them up. And the last thing I'd say, sorry, the second last thing is, you know, right now this is an empty quarry, and it's not bringing any tax revenue or benefit to the county. If this mine is operational, there's going to be personal property taxes. There will be several additional, you know, I mean, a dozen at least additional jobs, and that's going to bring in more tax revenue. The profits of selling, and, you know, there's been a lot of concern tonight about the quality of the roads and the things that happen with roads. Well, if there's a granite mine here, that would be a great source of material to improve the roads in Madison County as well. And, you know, can't bet on it, but I would assume it would probably be more affordable to get it next door as compared to shipping in from some other place. So I reserve the rest of my time for rebuttal. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak in favor of? Anyone here to speak in opposition of? Please come forward, state your name and address for the record. It doesn't matter which one.
Thank you for the time. Alan Camp, I have the property next door, just due west of the proposed rezone. Of course, last month, we all had tons of questions, and some questions were answered then, and there was a question asked today, or tonight, about how they would extract. Matter of fact, Ms. Fortson from the Planning and Zoning brought that up. I would like a more detailed how they would extract. Maybe y'all know, maybe another representative, but that is a concern, and I'm going to try not to be redundant. Some people behind me probably going to bring this up. Of course, the decrease in property values, adjoining land, and even though the majority of might come off the granite would be removed via rail, they would still have to use some of these county roads, and River Road, Berkeley Road. They're already deteriorating via just passenger and light traffic, people who live on and off the road. I can only imagine what the trucks would bring. Again, I'm not going to try to be redundant because there's some people behind me. This decibel stuff, I'm sure data may be correct, but I can only imagine, we can hear, like, on the Elbert County side, on the Broad River side, I dare say is 1 and 2 miles, some of the conveyor belts and some of the explosions and the crushers. We can, again, it's a dull noise, but we can hear that from miles away. I can only imagine what it would be, next door. So what I would like for y'all to, as a board, to really think about is some of these questions are, there's too many questions for a complete yes vote, in my opinion, tonight. I appreciate all the good things that might bring the county, some employment, some revenue, and I appreciate that. But as was said with the transfer station, the earlier one, what a punch in the gut it would be if our property values would decrease, but yet we'd still be on the hook for the roads and the bridges, especially on Berkeley Road. Again, the revenue may mitigate it, but I don't think that question can be answered tonight. So I would very much for y'all to think about it, and please vote no on this rezone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else in opposition?
Go ahead, sir.
Sure. Go ahead.
Hello, thanks for letting me come up. My name is Joseph Randles. I live at 98 Riverbend Drive, about a couple miles from the proposed site. I primarily just had a question as to the effect of water use on the water table in that area, since I am on a well about 2 miles away. So I don't know what the exact effect, how many thousands of gallons is needed. I don't know the procedure for you to wash gravel, et cetera. So I really want to know the water effect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Come on up.
My name's Keith Ingram, and I live at 393 Cooper Road in Comer, Georgia. And it wouldn't seem like I've got a very serious dog in this hunt. And matter of fact, I probably really don't, but I lease 400 acres that joins Mr. Camp's. That's the only close proximity thing that I've got to the quarry. When we're talking about the blasting, the noise and stuff, you can be sitting down there in a deer stand, and when they blast over there on the Elbert County side or Oglethorpe County side, you'll just about jump out of the tree. It is loud. They can say what they want to, but it's loud. The trucks are loud, the granite, the banging, all that is very loud. But what I want to talk about is the trucks. I live right behind the feed mill in Comer. And before I go any further, I want to thank y'all for just recently paving our road again for what the trucks did to it.
Well, actually, for the record, that wasn't the trucks. That was when they put that road in. They left all the stumps under the road, and the stumps rotted and created the hole. But the truck probably didn't help it none.
Well, no, the trucks didn't help it none, and I guarantee you a few years down the road, it'll be right back in the same shape it was. The trucks actually run on the shoulder of the road because the road bad, so tore up. Yes. I can understand the danger of the trucks on their road, especially if it's as narrow as they say it is. My road is actually wide, but the trucks, when they come to that four-way there, not throwing off on them, but they do not stop. They just make that turn and go on. As far as the noise there at the feed mill, they're going to be loading granite. They're loading chicken feed at the feed mill on train trailers, slamming them together. I live maybe a half a mile away, probably not that much, and there's a wood buffer. It's loud. And I can just imagine what it's going to sound like with granite going in those trucks and train trailers. So, thank y'all. But once again, thank y'all for the paving of the road.
I appreciate it. Anyone else? Come on up.
Jason Moon, I live at 506 Berkeley Road. Lived there 8 years. They've owned this property 8 years. The property's broke up in different LLCs. Only thing I've seen that I can find on the computer, and I'm not a computer scientist, my grandboys helped me a lot, but the other properties, the other LLCs, have got a lawsuit for taxes now. They're trying to get out of paying Madison County what they need because it's in conservatorship. That struck me as weird. I didn't like that. When I was at the last meeting, they put conditions on because they said, I can't remember the other man's name. He said that when CSX calls, you have to go. I worked at Trust George McMillan for 12 years. CSX ain't gonna wait on you to load a rail car, unload a rail car. They're gonna bring them and drop them. You've got to do what you're gonna do with them rail cars, call them and tell them to pick it up. That's why the other group gave them a condition to where they could load 24 hours a day, rail cars exclusively. And I would like to see that taken away because there's no reason for that. They've got a mine closer to Atlanta. Hours of operation is 8 to 5, 5 days a week. They only blast there between 11 and 1. Okay, well, I looked up George Stone, which is across the river. Their hours of operations from 7 to 5. Okay, don't know their blasting hours. It's hard to find anything on these because it's broke up into so many LLCs, spiderwebs down and cascades down. It's hard to find your way back to the main business and the people that's running. So that gives them a trust issue. But if you look at the map, there's already two mines there. Them are dimensional stone. They've already hit the water table. That ain't rainwater holding engine quarries. That's the water table. You start strip mining, that's the only way I know how to describe it. They call it aggregate mining. I've seen it. It's a strip mine. Every living thing on that property is going to be gone. No animals, no trees, no vegetation, nothing. All going to be gone. They said when they leave, this was another thing they said at the last meeting, when they leave, they're going to make a recreational pond out of it. Now, Todd, me and you've been in this county most of our lives. I've been here my whole life. How many of them have you ever went fishing in with a John boat? I mean, come on now. None. We've been swimming them, been drinking them. But no, they got a gate right across the bridge on Berkeley Road because they said they went down there with Michael Moore and deemed them other two sections right there so dangerous. Nobody needs to go down there. Now they're going to do 278 acres of danger. They're going to say it's not because they're just clearing things off and they're digging a 300-400 foot hole. They didn't clear everything off the other one. Animals can still live there. They put all that other in conservatorship from what they said for our kids, grandkids. You've done it for a tax break. All right. Well, once you get that done, the noise, I'm a quarter mile. They said, no, we're going to put everything up here. We're going to dig off the cliffs of the other two. Well, if you do that, you're going out of your boundary. Can't do that. I'm sure you got some kind of right of way on the property line to stay off of to clear it. And I'm not a quarter mile from that bridge. That property starts as soon as you go through the gate on the right. Sequel production on the left, 13 point whatever acres. I mean, I would like to see conditions modified to 5 days a week, if that's any way possible. At least give the residents down there a break from the noise, the explosion, whatever, the trucks. Give us the weekend that we can relax with our family. I mean, I live there. I'm there. I don't drive. So give me a break for just a little bit.
All right, thank you, sir. I'm going to ask these questions back to him just a second.
Thanks, sir.
Anyone else here is in opposition? All right. Come right ahead, young lady.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dale Kenner, and I came here because Mr. Camp asked me to come and speak against it tonight. I'm the guy that was just here, Mr. Ingram. It's very informative. I'm not going to say that I am that informative, but being in the game of selling land, we all know that it's anything like this is going to make nobody buy any land close to there, and nobody will be able to sell it. Mr. Camp bought the land probably about 3 years ago, and for peace and quiet, way out in the country, where he didn't think anybody would basically, be disturbing. He's not. He likes people. He's not like that, but he just wanted peace of mind. And he bought that property, and it was very expensive. He has been down there clearing and working for the last 2 or 3 years to where he wants to build a home. And then this comes up, and that mine pretty much goes down a long distance beside his property. And I guess you can think, if you had done the same, any of you bought that land because you wanted to go out there, to be out in the country. He loves to hunt. He has actually in the past owned a hunting area where people could come and hunt. It's one of his favorite things to do. He has people come to his home all the time to do that, and that was part of the purpose of him buying it. So I think just consider him, and if it had been you or maybe somebody else that would go down, and then you do have wildlife, and we all love wildlife. We don't want to run it away from our county. And I will tell you that I live just off 29 in the Diamond Hill area. And just recently, they had, if you know where the new China restaurant is, going toward Kroger on the left, they had to blast and blast and blast there. They would lay, when they were blasting, you could go by there and they use, I've never seen this before, but it's something rubber, like they put a bunch of tires and things to cover it, to mute the noise, right? And have y'all seen that? I'm sure you have. You can still hear it. You could hear it in Hull. You could hear it in my house, because people would be online saying, where is that noise coming from? Where is that noise coming from? Ever so many days, and it was coming from that one spot. So I ask you, in consideration of not Mr. Camp, but all these other people and anybody else that would like to get to that part of Madison County, because I think a mine, and I know there's a lot of mines in Elbert County and people still live there, but I don't think it's the right thing for Madison County. We want it to grow. We want it to be a place where people can come and get their sanctuary, have farms, etc. And I'm not sure that mining fits in with that. So, thank you all.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. All right. Sir, would you like to come back? If there's no one else,
Answer any questions.
please, sir, because I know I've got 3 here for you. The 3 that I have is extraction. How does that work, sir?
Don, will you want to take that?
Yeah. Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
My name is Tom Hill. I've been in the mining business for almost 40 years, even though I don't look it, but we had hundreds of mines at an Irish company I worked for, and I started a business from scratch called Summit Materials. With granite mining, you create a face. So the shear face can be I think, not sure. And Bob Price is a colleague of mine who is a lot more technical and knows a lot more than I do. But what's a normal face? 50 to 100? 50 feet. 50 feet. And so you have a subcontractor come in, he drills and blasts. It'll vary by the material, and you do it once a week, probably. And so that creates, some broken granite. You have a loader pick it up, put it in a truck, and take it to the primary crusher. And that's really the process. And then you've got secondary crusher and tertiary part, which create the various sizes. Some of that material is washed, some of it is not washed. Water usage, which is another question I think there, that's state regulated. We will have to do a hydrology study for the state. And, you know, then the state has to approve it. So that was the first question.
And I would also add, Tom, that we will recycle the water, because, you know, we have NPDES water discharge permits. You can't discharge dirty water, sampled once a month. But we want to recycle as much water as possible, because these granite quarries generally don't generate that much water. So water is an issue, a shortage, for our process. So we'll probably, you know, there's recycling systems that you can put in, et cetera, but usually it's through sediment pond.
Okay. So it's really not one of the questions was the strip mine phase. Now I'm familiar with strip mine for coal mining, a little bit different with this. If this property was to be stripped, to answer the gentleman's question and to educate us, how much of that property would you clear off at a time?
Well, there are setbacks, as you can see here. You know, so 50 years from now, this would probably be a large pond. Okay. So, you know, as you're going, you take the overburden off, so you get down to good material, and that's what you drill and blast in 50-foot increments. We'll probably go down a couple of 100 feet. And actually, as the mine develops, we will be lower and lower, and there'll be, you know, less noise, less, you know, people won't be able to, you know, see very far into the mine.
All right.
What is the width of that book that you have delineated in it?
What's I can't remember what's the
setback
buffer?
I think 200 feet. It's governed by the state mining department. I think it's 50 feet.
Oh, so only 50? Okay, whatever the state.
Either 50 or 100. It varies from state to state. And to further answer on the how much would be uncovered at once, stripping is a huge expense to us, so we try to manage that each year as we go. So it would be life of mine before that whole thing is entirely stripped off, the surface vegetation and stuff.
Usually try to take overburden off a year at a time, sometimes two. So it's not like you go in and strip the whole facility. You'd be doing it incrementally as time went on.
So you don't currently own it, you're purchasing it?
Yes.
Okay, purchasing. So the mine currently, as it sits, how long was that mine mined? So we know, so maybe the neighbors can get a reference point as to how much they know of and how long it took to get to that point.
My understanding is the mine was founded in like around 1900.
Okay.
But it was mined under the last owner until
2005, I believe. 2005
or 2006.
Okay.
So it was in operation for a long time. And there are, you know, two very large, they don't show up on this,
yeah, they're right
here,
there, yeah.
here. Those are two very deep, big, former, mines.
Yeah. I was trying to just create a reference as to how much land's cleared based off of almost 100 years worth of grading compared to what you're gonna do, so he has an idea how much grading you're gonna see in his lifetime. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I have to do the math, but you're talking under 5 acres a year that would be stripped off.
Deforestation through clear cut is a lot more devastating to the property than what these fellows are gonna do in their lifetime.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, any other questions, gentlemen, before we close the floor and entertain a motion? Thank you, both of you, all three of you. Thank everybody.
You made a comment that you wanted to remove the requirement for the CSX, but you also made a statement saying that the mine won't be viable unless it had real access. So how do you congeal those two statements?
Because the current condition is requiring before operations begin. And in my understanding of, you know, reading that, that condition is that pretty much nothing could actually be done on with the permit, because the permit isn't granted until CSX is done and operational. And basically we would have a completed, you know, my understanding is that there would need to be a completed rail line that CSX could use before any other work could begin, any other work.
Can I just, you know, probably at full capacity, 80% of the product is going to be shipped by rail. And also the spur is already there. So what we would have to do is improve it and lengthen it. But it's there already, and we spent, we had the representative from CSX out there, and, you know, they are very excited about us, opening this mine.
So I think to Commissioner Doster's point, we saw that condition come across, and I was trying to get some clarity also from Mr. Pruitt. And the way the P&Z adopted it was because it was y'all's intent, and I think it took a little too literal. It's like, okay, we still want to open, but our intent is to have rail, or it's not going to be viable. But you did not want the doors to be locked shut by the county until the rail was there. Correct. You still want to be able to operate and sell truck traffic while the rail's being built. Is that my understanding?
It's probably something a little different. I mean, by the time we get the plant up and in operation, the rail will be done.
Okay.
So it's not that. It's just the fact that we don't want to wait to start building the plant until we finish the rail. That's really the main point.
What is the investment on this particular
project? Right now, our plan is in 2 phases. The first phase is about $40 million, and the second phase would be between $30 and $40 million. So we have lined up financing of about $80 million to do this project.
Would it be safe to say, and I'm real familiar with the property here, would it be your intent that you're gonna harvest the spoil that's already out of the ground down there and run it through the crusher too?
It's undetermined because we really haven't had a chance to analyze the material. That it's really waste material from the dimensions. So
or the rock shed,
we would love to do that because that's it's already been drilled and blasted for us, so it's less expensive. So our intention would be to do it, but I can't say that we will.
Gotcha.
You mentioned the water table, those kind of things come later, but I mean, is there any activity on, do you have dissolvers in the ground now and you're monitoring, you know, the water table at this point? I mean,
no, we haven't done any of that work until we have the conditional use permit, and then we will start tomorrow.
So what is the water table monitoring plan? If you give this permission, how are we going to monitor?
Typically, it's what the state tells us to do, and that it's very heavily regulated. So it's not really what you know we do. Like we want to be a good neighbor and we want to be a good environmental steward, but a lot of it comes from the regulatory agencies. Isn't that right, Bob?
Correct. Yes.
The other question I have is in regards to. I understand the blasting. I understand you can bring somebody once a week and whatnot. Drilling noise, you know, it comes and goes, whatnot. I do have some. I have a facility in my district right now that the amount of noise that's generated during the nighttime just comes from the OSHA required equipment on the vehicle. You know, backup noises and those kind of things. So while I understand you want to run 24/7, you know, is there a midnight to 6 a.m. clause? I mean, I want to work with you, but I'm also trying to you know, I want my cake on me too. I get to say that. So what's the thought concept, or if you need some?
Do you want me to?
Yeah, it's Bob is came from a family aggregate business that the company I was working for acquired back in 2002. So,
and been with Tom since then. To answer that, you know, one of the reasons we want 24/7 is not for full production, but we want to be able to do maintenance. We'd like to do 2 production shifts, probably 10 hours a day per shift, and then that leaves us the remaining hours to do maintenance. So based on the questions of, you know, what does operations mean, we didn't want to get, we want to make sure we have time to do our maintenance.
And to add on to what Bob's saying, what our concern is, it would be very difficult to word a condition where we wouldn't be worried, well, is this gonna violate if we, do this? Is the county going to interpret this as maintenance or production or operations? And so to just streamline everything and make it as simple as possible, that is why we were just kind of asking for probably 24 hours so that if any emergency situation comes up or a maintenance situation comes up, we're not having, check with planning and zoning if we can do it.
But in terms of production, operating hours, we could live with 6 a.m. to midnight. That would not be an issue for us. The rail loadout,
It's gotta be 24/7.
yeah, because, the question that was posed earlier, yes, they do drop them off and we have to load them, but there's demurrage charges if you can't get them turned around quick enough. So, and you don't know when they're dropping them off. They could be dropping them off at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. And we would love to have that flexibility to, usually you have 24 hours to turn a train around. So, you gotta load the trains out.
In your comments on the operating time, you talking about primarily in the processing facility, not in the mine itself?
Well, they would go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. You have to operate both of them at the same time.
But we're not trying to circumvent that with the technical thing, if that's what you're asking.
Well, I'm just trying to get in my mind, so lighting requirements then in the quarry itself, obviously there has to be lighting requirements if you're going to be quarrying 24.
Yeah, generally in the pits, in the mining area, there's generally not lighting. I mean, the mobile equipment has lights on them. It's only around the plant for safety reasons.
But it's fixed lighting now.
Pardon?
It's fixed lighting around the plants.
Yes,
around
yes.
rock hole, you're gonna have something that shines just where you're working at.
No. The headlights on the wheel loaders and the haul trucks would be the lighting.
So in trying to get this process straight in my mind, I guess trying to understand, the mine doesn't operate fast enough. You're not gonna have a whole bunch of trucks at the end of the mining shift to operate the processor for the next 12 hours.
No.
It's a hand.
Right. Any other questions?
Any other questions, gentlemen? Out at this time.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
We'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion. And I think you want to go ahead and read well, I tell you what, you have the conditions in front of you. You can adjust the conditions or read them as is, in your motion. Yeah.
And one of the gentlemen said that y'all would be okay with 2 10-hour shifts. Is that what I understood, rather than 6 to 6?
For processing of the material. We'd still like to reserve the unused time to do maintenance, repairs and maintenance.
Yeah.
And the rail loadout.
But there would be no blasting during maintenance hours?
No.
No blasting,
We are never set hours.
Blasting, we're fine with 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
That's best practice in the industry.
Here again, recognizing that there is already a rail spur on that property, and with relatively, in saying that a spur is required, they have a rail spur. It's been there I know it's been there for 45 years because I'm familiar with the property down there. I would have to say also that the operation in regards to contaminants and pollution is not going to be anything like what the rock shed that's on that piece of property where we had the waste oil and the water and that type of thing. We're not going to see that anymore because it's a different mining. The whole concept of what you do is different from that. under conditions, well, I would make a motion that this be approved, less the condition requiring a rail spur, because technically there's already a rail spur on the property. It may be developed further, or it may be improved, but there's already a rail right-of-way and spur on the property. And would say that operations could be from 6 a.m. until, let's say 12 at night, and you can take 6 hours for maintenance. Is that acceptable?
Yeah.
And then blasting will be confined to the hours that are discussed in the other thing. Does that make sense?
It does. Is everyone familiar with the conditions that Commissioner Adams stated? If so,
Blasting would occur during, according to best management practices of the industry.
During daylight hours.
So would you state for us what those?
Well, it's Monday to Friday, 10 to 4. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
So if we state a condition that blasting would occur according to industry standard best management practices, as stated, Monday to Friday, 10 to 4.
Correct.
all right, understanding those conditions, I'd entertain a second.
Much prefer the district commissioner Kurt be here, but in his absence, I will second motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Adams with conditions, followed up by a second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? I will give you a little bit of discussion. In talking to Commissioner Kirk today, he felt very comfortable with this vote, with any conditions this board saw fit. He said he was comfortable with that, so that's just for the record, but that is not his vote, because he's not here to vote. All right. Any other discussion, gentlemen?
Just a comment more than discussion, just for me personally, and I get the concerns that are stated, and I certainly appreciate them. It's a mining community there, it's historically a mining community. The quarries exist there, although they have not been operating in the very recent past, but it's a quarry there, it's a quarry historically there, and that tips the scale, in my opinion, on this particular issue.
All right. Any other discussion?
I think the discussion of noise and whatnot, I think it just continues, not against this vote, but not, or this motion, but just as a notation that we're gonna have to wrestle with some noise ordinances.
All right, Commissioner Chandler?
Yes.
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 All right. Motion carries, sir. Item number.
That's it, I think.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
You allow me to say something? Absolutely. Not at the,
No.
not as the P&Z chair.
In the future.
Item number 3 that was voted on, I think we all agree that a transfer station is very much needed in the county, or something needs to be done. And I don't know what the rules are, but I would ask that you as commissioners discuss maybe a governmental and a private agreement to do something with what we've already got. I think outside of the box. That's what we already got.
Thank you, sir.
Think about that, because I think that is something that has to be done in some fashion in the years to come. And that's as a citizen, not as a PZ person. Thank you.
Old business, consider approving an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Dangersville, City of Comer, City of Island for an governmental agreement with the City Collection Municipal Aid Value on Tide. Christina, are we good with that?
Yes.
All right. Gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion. This is what we talked about.
This has already been bid,
Yes, sir. Yes. costs.
This is these separate agreements for each of the cities.
Yes,
We
sir.
will, receive culverts tomorrow. They didn't have a quorum at their last meeting, so they're voting on theirs tonight. I think that's what Lamar said. And then Carlton is voting on theirs Tuesday night. We should have it Wednesday, but because I don't have those actually signed it in front of me, you will vote on those two at the next meeting. So you have 3 out of the 2 tonight.
Okay, but they'd be the same, just.
Yes, yes.
We move forward with the individual agreements.
Motion by Commissioner Chandler, do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner May.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, new business, consider appointing David Jones as the Industrial Development and Building Authority, chairperson.
We look at the charter, is the chair something that we choose, or we let board members choose office?
I think they vote on it. I think it's just a recommendation from us.
We can do that. I'm not opposed to considering him as a member.
You know what, I thought that was for discussion. I don't remember being about it. I think it was for discussion. Maybe we just put it on.
No, I know they have voted. I didn't know that, but,
Maybe it was just for discussion.
But before we take this up, I want clarification on that, and while we're also considering a name for that, I would like to go ahead and add Trip Strickland to that as well.
Yeah, we got a pretty good list.
So there are two vacant positions currently. That would fill those 2. There's one position we had not filled, and then the one vacated by Ben.
But, no, we actually have one, but we got one wanting to come off, so the other one, which would be the second one. David Jones filled the one that we were missing, and now that Ben leaves is gonna create that one to come back, but then there's another one wanting to come off.
there could be 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll follow up with Mike on that. That could have been my oversight, and I just put it on the agenda because I was at the idea meeting.
All right, discuss an agreement with ESP.
Yes, so Mike and I and Mr. Portwood, who presented their budget to you guys, we put this as our first little draft agreement in front of you. It just kind of, there's not a whole lot you can put with what that service with ESP is to a dollar figure. So that was tricky to navigate through, but this is a draft agreement for that. So I know that kind of checks the boxes that the commissioners have when we're going through the budget with different entities and serving those funding mechanisms. We also have one back from the library that we're coming through.
Gotcha.
So it's just for discussion, if you guys wanna review it, and let me know if you see anything that stands out that you wanna change, or anything specifically you'd like to add in, we can do that. This was drafted.
Did we include these monies in this year's budget?
Yes, sir.
Is there any reason we couldn't move forward with this evening and to get it out of the way?
There's absolutely no reason you cannot. You can entertain a motion. I'll entertain a motion.
As a parent who has a child that is challenged and who has been associated with ESP for a number of years, I would make a motion this is approved because these people do provide services to a very largely underserved portion of our community. Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Adams, and I have a second by Commissioner May. In discussion, I couldn't agree with you more. I firsthand saw this. We're very fortunate. That's all I'm gonna say, is to have these kinds of services in Madison County. So, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Dodd.
I hope, can I point of order?
Sure.
I was just asking if they have a facility here in Madison County.
No, it's in Clark County.
Yeah.
they service Madison County citizens.
They provide transport sometimes.
Yeah.
If we do too, so.
Just
curiosity. Yeah, I wanna make sure that make a bearing on this.
I think there's
Okay.
12 counties they service, but their home offices.
Well, heck, we've got a great one in this ESP facility in Washington.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanna make sure they have a bearing on it. Sorry. The council starts whispering in your ear, you start listening.
You start listening, there you go.
Sorry about that. Yes.
Yeah. All right, motion carries. Urgent matters, Christina?
No.
These other three packets.
Yeah, True Green and.
Oh, those are, just disregard those. I put them on your agenda and
We will.
in your
Yeah,
packet.
I don't
I
need
remember
explanation.
last year y'all were like that.
We're still way ahead of the game, guys. I don't know if we need to slow down.
Watch how quickly I can disregard some.
Yeah.
No, I promised Daniel we was a 3-hour meeting, so we gotta slow it down for the next 45 minutes. I'm just kidding, Daniel.
But, I'm sorry, but for clarity, is this something that's coming back for us?
No.
Or you'll just,
So last year, the last 2 or 3 years, we put them before you guys. And what I have picked up on is the Board of Commissioners has decided that that is within the chairman's buying power. And so I have asked Shelley to put that before her rec board and in her minutes, have her rec board approve those agreements as recommendations to the BOC, and then the chairman just approves. So I was trying to lighten the agenda.
beautiful.
That's where that comes
So
from.
we're trying to get the rec board to see all things rec prior to it coming to us.
Yes.
No urgent matters, executive session to discuss real estate acquisition, personal matters, any potential litigations. Mr. Haygood, did you know about it?
No, I will tell you that I've continued to see these, opioid agreements come through,
Mhm.
and I'm expecting a fair amount of dollars over the next 3 or 4 months.
I really wish they would send us the rules to how to spend it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's spending it very much right now.
No, everybody's scared to.
Yeah.
The latest one with Purdue, by the way, the Julia, I was actually gonna call her to see if she has any advice. Because if not, we're gonna own some opioid ambulances before it's over with.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Doster, please.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you. That's been a 4 years and 10-month deal right there.
Yeah.
That last one.
And when the state got involved, it made it way more complicated.
Well, it's funny because they have the procedure for the grant, they just don't have it for the settlement.
Yeah. Yes.
That blows me away from them.
No, we got it invested, right?
Yeah, yes, we do, sir.
I remember when ESC first started. It's amazing what they've done. There you go. It's amazing. All right, guys, good to see you.
Thank
Good seeing
you. Yes, sir.
I'd have never believed it went that quick tonight. I told everybody 3 hours.
Y'all did a great job handling it. I mean, it was, and the citizenry was, very respectful and thoughtful about it.